Welcome, Strategy About Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with GBHL James, and I'm on my own. We're doing another Speak Friend in Question, and I'm pretty sure you'll have seen Jamie's already. This has been the first week in a very long time, probably since the first two, that we've not actually managed to get together during a week and film the Q&A. So big apologies for that for you guys. There have been lots of reasons for that. Both of us have been very busy. I'm sure you're all sick of me talking about it, but I've just opened a gym, and there's only two of us working the gym and doing the classes, doing my other business, the outdoor fitness. So there are times where, you know, really we need three people, and there's only two of us, so it's been pretty impossible. But I am determined not to allow that to stop me from being involved in a Q&A. I have never not done a Q&A since we started the channel. So it'd be good for you guys to see how committed I am. You can see that I am in my bedroom. It's early hours of Monday morning. I've technically got most of today off until tonight, which is brilliant. So it's kind of my first semi-day off for a little while. And yeah, I would like to sit here and answer some questions. So I'm going to get straight to it, because undoubtedly there'll be many jokes about how my Q&A is miles longer than Jamie's, because he's more sort of concise and to the point, and I tend to waffle on like I'm doing right now. So welcome to my bedroom. As you can see, I'm wearing my pajama gym jam tops. I've got Batman pants on because you know how I love Batman, and this is my bed. So we're going to start off with Galadrim, and Galadrim's question is, he's got, "Hi guys, thanks for the positive feedback on my escalation tournament list last week. Ended up in second place, missed out by 1 point. Well done, good effort. Regardless, it was a great day's gaming. My question this week has caused some debate in the Facebook community down under. Can Sauron use might to modify the result of the One Ring special rule? The rules for might state you can use it for taking tests like jump, climb, etc., dual roll, shooting, rolling to wound, courage, using will, and using fate and heroic actions. It doesn't seem to come under any of those categories. The special rule is listed instead of a fate entry, however, but it makes no reference to fate. Thoughts?" I've got no idea. This Q&A is going to have started really well. I don't see why it wouldn't be able to use it, but I've not got the rules in front of me, and I've got absolutely no idea. I've never come up against Sauron in a battle, never seen him at a tournament. I actually really want the model, so if anybody's got a spare one knocking around and you don't want to charge me too much for it, I'm quite keen on getting a Sauron and using him in some battle reports just for fun, because you know he's the bad guy, isn't he? So I'm afraid I can't help you with that, but I'm sure you'll have got a better answer from Jamie. So sorry about that, Galadrim. Make sure you ask a question next week, and we'll be back together. So next up, we got Lakeitha. Lakeitha's put, "Hey fellas, sorry I forgot to post a question last week. Shame on you. So I'm going to ask you two quick questions. Do cavalry get their charge bonuses against models with pike spears? Yes, they do. And where can I buy the One Ring dice that you use in the videos? I live in Australia, so hopefully they can send it from the UK. Yes, they can. You need to go onto the One Ring forum, and if you contact DMS, he should be able to point you in the right direction. DMS is one of our channel sponsors from Shadow and Flame. He does painting commission work. He's awesome, and he's coming to our tournament in September because they've got the confirmed dates for Games Day. So he actually messaged me last night and said that he was looking forward to coming. He's going to paint some stuff up, and we're going to get him involved again in another live Q&A. So if you've not bought your tickets for Desolation of Stockport 2.0, make sure you get on it, guys, because they've gone fast. The early birds all went, I think, within the first day, which is brilliant. He's put, "Thanks for answering my previous question. By the way, I'd be willing to pay about $20 Australian dollars per month for subscription. Not sure how much that is in pounds. PS, keep up the good work." That's absolutely fantastic. That's really good to know. I promise you, the moment that things settle down slightly with myself, Jamie and I are going to sit down, and we really need to sort of thrash out how we're going to do this. You know what? Ideally, both of us need like a dedicated day, and it would be good if we were being paid for that day, because it makes it justifiable from a business point of view. But we need a day which every week we can both afford to take out of work, normal work. I can afford to take out of business, where we just focus on the business of the GBHL YouTube channel. And by that I mean filming all the things that we need to film, and doesn't matter what else comes up, because we are getting paid to do that, we stick to it and do it. And it also gives us a chance to, work out how we're going to do things like this subscription service. In terms of your question, do cavalry get their charge bonus to get models with pikes and spears? I understand why you're asking that, and of course, because historically you think that pikes and spears are very good sort of anti-cavalry. But in a sense, that's still true, because if you've got let's say a shield wall supported by spears, then most of the time you're going to be able to roll 2 dice, and that's going to negate the charge bonus of the cavalry charging in. So, but you do still get the charge bonus of the cavalry. Next up, we got Thomas Maynard. He's put, high elf players are fun. Curse you all. Well, I play as high elf sometimes. I have to say I don't enjoy it as much as playing as the Rohan. I think the Rohan's much more fun, but I do have the high elves. I'm looking forward to using. I actually managed to do a little bit of painting the other night. I got 2 or 3 hours where I could paint some of my eagles, because I thought they're quite easy to paint. So I'm going to use a bit of an eagle army, Bayonne eagle army, just for a bit of fun. But yeah, high elves are good, or good fun. Jamie Finnegan. So this is the guy that you'll have seen in the latest Get Buff Bat Rep. Big apologies if we missed anything during that battle. We were just trying to squeeze it in. I know that we forgot that Vrasku is strength 5, not strength 4, so he only needed 5s to wound against Airman. Those of you that said that Jamie should never let it lie that the hill in the middle was gentle sloping, at the start of every game we just go through the terrain and say, right, what should we have this count as, what should we have this count as, and both of us just said, okay, we just count this as gentle sloping, so there wasn't anything in there. And for those of you that think that I just sit back and shoot all the time, wait for the right opportunity, do one, because that didn't happen. So Jamie Finnegan put, I forgot to comment last week, I've not got a question this week, but I do have my ticket for Stockport 2.0. Yes, he does. If you get to play Jamie, he's a really, really nice guy, and he's going to end up being a really good player, I think. He's just getting back into it. She's put, looking forward to my first tournament and meeting everyone and putting faces to names. Cheers, guys, Jay. Yeah, that is definitely the best thing about coming to tournaments, is getting to meet all the people. And if you're going to come to an independent tournament, of course, I'm absolutely biased. I'm completely biased. But Stockport has been by far, and I'm gutted I couldn't really take part in it because we were running it, but by far my best tournament experience. It really, really has. Just in terms of all of the new people that this channel has allowed us to sort of bring in. But there are other great tournaments as well. I really, really love East Grinstead. That's probably been my second favourite in terms of the atmosphere, and it's going to be so much better there when they've done the refurb and there's lighting. But if you're going to go to another independent, from my own personal experience so far, and I'm yet to go to Scotland, and that's happening soon. I've heard good things about Scotland. East Grinstead, I think, has been my favourite so far, both times. Thank you very much for your question, Jamie Finnegan. Next up, we've got Rob Jacobs. Rob Jacobs has put, hi, James and Jamie, what's your PayPal business email to send the £23 for the GBHL t-shirt I have ordered? And I actually commented back on this one. If you don't know if you want to make a donation, I suppose, those of you that want to contribute to the channel, our email address is ilovewargaming@gmail.com. So if you ever want to send anything to the GBHL YouTube channel, whether it's paying for the t-shirts or when we do our subscription service, I think you could actually set up like a standing order almost via PayPal. So if any of you want to start doing your contributions, you can do it. It's ilovewargaming@gmail.com, and very soon Jamie and I will be thrashing out sort of a reward system for people who do that. So I guess people who started doing that right away, we would find a very special reward. I certainly would, as I get organised. Also, Rob Jacobs, I am so sorry. I've been so far behind, and I hope you can forgive me. I owe you a Diet Coke the next time I see you at a tournament. I have still not sent out your Serpent Guard, so I apologise. James Richardson, I still haven't sent out your Hobbit Gandalf. It's an absolute sham. I'm going to throw in some free models for you both from me, just to say sorry. It's a tiny contribution, or a tiny token, sort of sorry, really. But I've just been so busy, and I hope you can forgive me. I really do, because it's just been mental. I've got to pay the mortgage somehow, so it's been a bit crazy. But that doesn't excuse it, so I'm sorry. Next up, we've got Barry O'Neill. I like Barry. He's put, hey guys, sorry for the obscure Gordon Darcy reference. He's a rugby player for Ireland who looks the spit of Neil, massive beard. Still down mounted or Sharin as general. Discuss. Very, very interesting, Barry, because I have been in that same predicament. Now, I know that Jamie really, really rates the Hasharin. And of course, the predicament is, do you value the knockdown, so the ability to be mounted, you know, as a hero is so important. And the extra might of Suladan, absolutely brilliant. But Hasharin's a lot harder to kill. So I would say that if you can have both in a force, great. But I would choose the Hasharin as the general, because he's going to be harder to kill. He's got an elven cloak. He can never be trapped. Yeah, he doesn't have the might, but he's got more wounds and more fate, I believe. But if you can have both in the force, great. I would just say that Hasharin's probably better as a general, considering that a lot of the scenarios, killing the general is so important. So I hope that helps, Barry O'Neill. That's just my opinion. So next up, we've got Mason O'Neill. He's put, thanks for answering my question. My question this week is, with a heroic combat, it says the model must kill all enemy models in the fight. But because spear support are unkillable, does that mean you can't heroic combat if you're fighting an enemy with spear support? A spear supporting model, they're not counted as, they're not classed as being in the combat, so to speak. So for example, you know, if it was your opponent's priority and they moved in and they put spear support, you know, to support somebody who was in a combat, obviously you can go and charge the spear support and then he gets pulled away. So they're not counted as bit, and that's why you can also shoot at them as well. So they're not classed as being in the combat, and as such, if you kill the models in base contact, so those are the ones that can be killed, then yes, you can continue your heroic combat. So I'm pretty sure that's right. Jeremy Smith put, good question. So I hope that I answered that right. And Steve Crow put, supporting models aren't classed as being in a combat, I'd assume, since being able to target them with bowfire. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, yeah. And I'm guessing that that's probably going to be the same kind of thing when it comes to the special rule of the Mirkwood Rangers as well. That's the way that I would see it. So yeah, hope that helps, Mason. Next up, we've got the Sarge, Graham Sargent. He's put, hello again, great Q&A again. Well, I hope you appreciate having two this week, guys, because you've got two. Nice to have in my spare room, man cave, while I'm painting. I don't normally put up army lists for comment, but I'm pretty awful at making lists. So how does this sound? We've got Beorn, Treebeard, plus another Ents, Gandalf the Ground Horse, and Thrain the Broken. 700 points on the nail. Wanted the list to have some fun with, and would also be good for my opponent to play against. Any good? I think your opponents would enjoy playing against that. It's good fun. You know, it's not going to be particularly competitive, but you've got lots of things there that are hard to take down and are quite killy. It's going to suffer with a lot of the normal things that a list like that is going to struggle with, which is eventually you're going to run out of might, you're going to lose the fights, you're going to be trapped, you're going to take wounds, because you aren't always going to roll a 6. So it's important that you are very, very good with how you keep the force together. Having Gandalf the Grey on Horse is good, you know, for avoiding the bowfire. You can cast the blinding light and all of that. Thrain the Broken, I'm guessing it's going to go down reasonably quick. But yeah, let us know how it goes. I'd love to play against it. I'm sure your opponents love fun. For example, you know, you do tend to see that players who bring fun lists. So Kieran got it at a Mansfield tournament. He brought the White Council on foot. You know, just not incredibly competitive force. You know, like he had everything in there. But because it was so themey, he got, you know, and he's a good player. You know, to play against is quite fun. He makes decisions based on the theme and fluff, not necessarily always the strategy. He got best sporting, and at Throne of Skulls, oh, for goodness sake, what's his name? Oh, I'm really, really sorry, but Sam McGuinness. That's right, Sam McGuinness. He had an all-Ent army, and loads of people enjoyed playing against it. And people enjoy playing against things like that because it is beatable, but it's fun, it's themey, it's silly, it's, you know, it's good. So I wouldn't expect it to be too competitive, but I'm sure your opponents will enjoy it. Next up, we got Quinn Duggan. He's put, stop missing my questions, okay? I remember reading your questions out, Quinn. Maybe you are not paying attention to the whole Q&A. That's all I'm saying. He's put, okay, so here's 2, first off, to make a Gibbling, or make me a Gibbling Goblin, please. I am great at killing dwarves and other good factions, wink wink, James. I don't know what you're talking about there, Quinn. Also, theoretically, in a 600-point army with 20 Mirkwood Rangers, Legolas, Toriel, and 140 points of spare, what should I put in? Another 10 Mirkwood Rangers? And also think of a good way to make Seize the Prize better is to separate army into categories of flying, mounted, and infantry. So someone on horseback or warback can't just heroic march to the prize and give everyone a fair chance. Buy from the all-mounted Rohan beater. Well, Quinn, first up, you did beat the all-mounted Rohan. You beat the 600-point list, which has got infantry in it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not technically get buff bat rep. So, you know, I'll call you out, I think. We'll fight again soon. Yeah, I mean, what we're going to do at Stockport 2.0 is the way that we've modified it. After seeing, because Sam Page modified it for his last East Grinstead tournament. And what he did was that he added leader and breaking. And he not only added leader and breaking, but you had to get it off any board edge but your own. But the problem with that is that you're just going to, you head back to your board edge towards the corner and just go off your back corner. And the problem with adding leader and breaking is that then it just becomes too much like all of the other scenarios. So if you get leader and breaking, it doesn't matter what you do with the prize, you're going to win. So if your force is designed, you know, let's say Ed's Felby army, which he's probably going to get the prize anyway. But if he doesn't, it doesn't matter because he's going to probably break you and he's probably going to kill your leader. So what we've gone for is we've said that you have to get the prize off your opponent's board edge. So you've actually, once you get the prize, you've got to fight through. So it forces the fight. You get 1 if you have the prize, you own the prize on your own side of the board. You get 3 if you have the prize on your opponent's side of the board. And you get 5 if you get it off. And then there's also, you get 1 point for breaking your opponent and 3 for breaking without being broken yourself. So that's what we're thinking of doing. And I got a couple of guys to play test it and it seemed to work. So in terms of your list, yeah, 140 points to spare. You've got Legolas and Toriel. Oh, you've already got 20 Mirkwood Rangers. 140 points to spare. Well, you could add another couple of Mirkwood. You could fill up your war bands, so you've got another few Mirkwood Rangers, or you could get a couple of Palace Guard in there for the extra higher fight, and maybe chuck in Thranduil for the theme. Maybe that's a bit of a suggestion. Hope that helps, Quinn Duggan, and hope to play you again soon. Next up, we've got Ian Marley. He's put, no, this hasn't put me off tournaments. He's referring to Lewis and what's that other dude's name? Ash? No, he's sent some weird messages to Mick, thinking that we're bullying him. It's ridiculous. He's put, no, this has not put me off tournaments. I played many Warhammer and Blood Bowl tournaments, so my nerd constitution remains intact. Nice one, Ian. I'm glad that didn't put you off. So he put, a question for this week is, when I attend the beautiful Stockport, the list I am bringing is Gandalf the Grey on horse, Elrond in heavy armour on horse, Elladan and Eora here with heavy armour on horse, and Arwen on horse. How well do you think this force will do at this event across the weekend? What is good about it, and what would you change? I think it's great. I think it's got a fantastic theme. I was thinking of doing something similar in terms of Elrond, Elladan, Eora here, and Arwen. And this was for 500 points. I was also thinking Lindir on a horse, just for a themed army. But the Elrond from Shadow and Flame hasn't been finished yet, so that's why I didn't do that. But yeah, I think it's great. It's got Gandalf the Grey on horse. You're going to need that. You need to cast Blinding Light, and he's going to be able to sort of protect the heroes a little bit. You know, things like if you come up against things that can sap will and take them away, then he's going to be able to obviously help with that. But I think Gandalf the Grey is a really important part of that, and also Elrond, because Elrond's a beast. I mean, it's a tough one. What I would think is a tough one is, do you have Gandalf as your lead, or do you have Elrond? You know, I think you put Gandalf. I think you put Gandalf and keep him away from it all. I think it'll do quite well, actually. It's not too dissimilar from something that Chris Young brought to Stockport. I think that playing as an all-hero army is tough. You've got to be a decent player to do something with it, but if you work it out, then I think it's great fun. He's put, I'm not changing it as I like my Gandalf and the half-elven theme, just curious. Yeah, I think it'll do quite well. Congrats on the 1,500 subs mark. Keep it up, lads. Looking forward to teaching some of you some dance moves at Stockport. Depending how sober I am, not. Yeah, looking forward to that too. It's going to be a really good social event. If you've not bought your ticket, buy it now. Buy it now, and so that is the best. You know, even if you can't make it, but attending these tournaments, we've learned is the best way to support us. We thought the best way to support us was to buy from Element Games. After not receiving too much in terms of sponsorship, as much as we thought for various reasons, probably the best way at the moment is actually to attend our tournaments. So get yourself down, guys. It's going to be amazing. Next up, we've got David Whitaker, formerly David Lowe. But hey guys, it's good to be back in the loop. Welcome back to the loop, pal. He put, my question this week is, if someone approached you with a fully converted army of unique looking models, assuming they are done to a good standard, and said they count as such and such a unit, would you be willing to play it? And would it be allowed at tournaments? For example, in White Dwarf 300, back when White Dwarf was good, they showed you how to convert Wardens of Umbar, where Minas Tirith warriors with Numenor heads, a darker shade of paint, and a sash made of green stuff. I put a pic on Facebook a while back. Yeah, I think I saw them. They also had profiles which happened to be identical to Easterling Black Dragons. If someone had a few warbands of these guys and made it clear they could use the Black Dragon profile, would you accept? In a tournament, no, because it's a made-up unit. I mean, you would have to. I mean, how could you get around that? No, I mean, some TOs might allow you, if you have got if they're using the Black Dragon profile, then you're going to need a Easterling warrior to lead them. I mean, I would play against it in a battle report if they're well converted and stuff, but I don't think it would be allowed at a tournament. I don't think so. It'd be interesting to see what other people think. So make sure you comment in my next Q&A to let us know. Okay, Yam Cider. He's put, I am creating an Angmar force, and I'm open to any tips or ideas. My list so far, 500 points, is a Shade with 5 Orcs with Shield and 5 Orcs with Shield and Spear, and 2 Spectres. Good start. Next up, Orc Shaman, 6 Orcs with Shield, 5 Orcs with Shield and Spear, 1 Orc Banner. Good stuff. And then you've got Badur, 6 Orc Trackers and 1 Spectre. The main problem I see with this list is the lack of might. Thanks for answering my question and keep up the good work. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do an Angmar force, I mean, me and Jamie have theorised this a few times, you can make like an anti-might force with Angmar. So if you combine the Shade with the Dwemer and you get the Dwemer in there, maybe instead of Badur, and fill out some of your warbands, then that could be quite effective. I mean, you've got the Shaman in there for your fate. You've got the Shade in there, so you've got the -1, which is important. I mean, Badur's going to be able to do quite a bit. He's going to be more smashing, and he's where your might is. But maybe it's worth actually popping the Dwemer in there instead. Of course, lack of might is going to be a problem in that kind of list. But I guess the theory with an Angmar force is that you can make an anti-might list, where obviously the Dwemer is forcing you to use, double instead of 1, and the Shade with the -1 a lot of the time is forcing heroes to use more might, or forcing things to use more might than they would. So definitely worth a look. But let us know how you get on. So next up, we've got Jeremy Smith, Lieutenant Smith. He's put, speak. When viewers ask how to find players in the area and are referred to the One Ring website, you are 100% right. I had my second games day with a dude I met from Chicago area, and he got his bum handed to him, but it was great fun. Even got some videos shot. Fantastic. Good work, Jeremy. Yeah, if you don't know any players in your area, get yourself onto the One Ring Population Finder. The One Ring is a superb forum, which I've not been on there for ages, just because I've been so busy. So apologies to the One Ring. But you will find players from around the world on there, and it's a great way of meeting people. That's how I met a lot of guys that I play with now. So Jeremy Smith's next part, he put friend. He's put, what are your future plans for the GBHL channel? What do you predict for the next year and in 5 years in terms of subscribers, product lines, sponsors, and how massive Jamie's beard will get? Well, let's start off with Jamie's beard. I know he wants to grow it in case he gets asked to be an extra on Vikings, and I know he feels a little bit inferior now that he's seen my colleague Neil's beard. So who knows what will happen with Jamie's beard. In terms of our future plans, we would love to have a website where we had like a Vault subscription service where that's where you would find the extra content. So a little bit like miniwargaming.com in that aspect. So we have a website that you can go on there and you can watch all of our videos on there, and if you want you can become a Vault member, and when you're a Vault member you get a special newsletter, you get access to a forum, and there's a subscription service, like I say, which allows you into a Vault part where you can see videos or extra content that we put up. I mean, really, I think our goal really is to have a day a week which is paid for, because it's what you got to realise is that I'm self-employed. I mean, Jamie's got to work certain hours per week, and he's had a sort of a busy week. I think he's had a lot of social things going on. But for myself, any time that I'm not working, I'm technically losing money because I'm a personal trainer. And I'm a very, very busy personal trainer. I've got a very good reputation in Manchester, and there are people that I have to turn away. Every hour that I don't work is an hour where I could be personal training or doing something for the business that takes it forward. So every hour that I'm not doing something, I have to do it at another period of time, and that's really tough to justify. What would be great is that, let's say, a Thursday every week, it doesn't matter, we go in, and my day of work as a self-employed person would be focusing entirely on the channel. That would be brilliant. I think that Jamie would like that as well. I mean, it'd be great to get it to a point that Jamie could actually take a bit more of a wage from it, or take a wage from it. I'm not too bothered myself in terms of taking a massive wage or anything, but it'd be good for Jamie, because Jamie works for somebody else, and in life, I mean, people see trying to create business as a dirty word. I mean, people probably are listening to me now thinking, well, why would you try and make money from this? This is a hobby. Why would you not do this for free? But the fact, why is trying to take yourself forward in life a bad thing? If you can make money doing the things that you love doing, then that is the ideal situation in life. So it'd be really good to get it to a point where Jamie could work on it at least part-time hours, like 20 hours a week or something. That would be brilliant, because he could run a lot of the business side of it with my support. So that'd be really good. In terms of product lines, I mean, it'd be great that we could have an e-commerce shop where you can buy stuff all of the time, your dice and t-shirts, that we weren't having to go and purchase these things on batch to sell, that if you did it kind of cut us out almost, but we were still making it, even if it was just a little bit from it. That'd be great. In terms of subscribers, well, I guess the next goal is to get to 2,000. I mean, if we could, really, you need tens of thousands of subscribers to actually really start making anything from YouTube, so that would be really good. And Jeremy Smith's question, he's put, no question last week, so a real tough one this week. Make sure you go to Jamie's Q&A then for this one. He's put, where would I find the rule about jumping into combat? Say my model wants to jump over an obstacle and engage an enemy model. If jump test passed and no further movement is allowed, and my model is in base contact with said enemy model, is this allowed or not allowed? Because obstacle counted as a defensive barrier. I play both ways, but really want to know for tournament non-friendly games. I think whomever declares they are defending must do so during the movement phase. Your thoughts? No, I think when the model is at the barrier first, then his control zone extends past that barrier. So if you wanted to get close enough to effectively try and jump to get into base contact, you are technically entering his control zone, and I think the moment that you touch the barrier count as being in combat with him. So you can't just go up to the barrier, jump over it and ignore the fact he's got a control zone there. You could try and jump further away from his control zone, and if you roll a 6, then move into his control zone and attack him that way and avoid the barrier. But his control zone extends past the barrier, and I've always played it that barrier, the moment that you touch it or enter it close enough to where you could jump over and end up in combat with him, because he retains his control zone as well. So let's say, for example, even unless you get somebody on the other side of the barrier doing this and attacks him, and then the control zone goes, if you move a model into base contact with the barrier, so effectively into combat with the guy behind the barrier, I don't think you can then go up against the barrier in his control zone, jump over, and then, because you are close to him, do it. It's then a multiple fight across the barrier. He retains his control zone, so no, I think that you can't do that. I hope that helps. Next up, we've got Matt Rondo. He's put, hey there again, guys. He's put, quick heads up, my name is pronounced Rondo. Yeah, I got it right. Like the bacon ingredient. Laughed heartily at Jamie's comments. Good stuff. I'm glad that you're all enjoying the channel, guys. But anyways, my question for you guys is, if there was one old hero that you would update, who would it be and what would you update? Keep up the good work, guys. Loving the videos. Well, I've always believed that Aemon Knight of Pelennor should be fight 6. That would be great for me from a selfish point of view. I think Lurtz is massively outdated. He needs updating, considering he's sort of one of the main antagonists in the Two Towers movies. He's clearly an old profile. I think a lot of the fight values all need to be sort of redone, as it were. You know, I think Aragorn in particular, you know, could do with being fight 7. You know, a lot of the fight values could be scaled, just based on those types of things. What else? Theoden needs a new profile, really. You know, one that reflects him, you know, at the Battle of the Pelennor, really. So yeah, those are my thoughts. He's put, keep up the good work, guys. Loving the videos. Glad you're enjoying it, buddy. Next up, we got Hal Torian. He's put, thanks for your input, guys. Based on your answer to my question last week, what archers would you recommend for fiefdoms? Should I just use the Blackroot Vale archers, or maybe ally in some others from another force? Yeah, I don't think Blackroot Vale archers are really worth it, so you could maybe ally in some Ithilien rangers, or Rangers of Gondor from the Gondor list. That would be perfectly thematic and would work quite well. He's put, I'm mainly an Infinity player myself, so any coverage for that game in the distant future would be awesome. They're just coming out with their 2-player starter, so you might want to check that out. We will do. That's good. Congrats on a big milestone. Thank you. And count me in as a Silmaril member at least. Yeah, I love that. The Silmaril, Mithril. So you could have Silmaril member. And you could have like Ring of Power member, because that's obviously got to be top, I think. Silmaril members and Mithril members. You know, that could be pretty cool. What do you reckon? Let us know. In terms of Infinity, I'm thinking, well, every time I go into Element Games, the guy there nearly persuades me to buy an Infinity army, and I've priced up a really sort of decent, what are they called? Aleph? I think it's like the Greek ones. Yeah. I really like the look of that. So with Ajax and sort of the whatchamacallums, Myrmidons and all of that, like Greek mythology. But yeah, 2-player starter set could be good. I mean, we need to get Batman done. We've kind of not gone off of it. I mean, it's a good system, but I think after you've played X-Wing a certain number of times, it becomes very samey. It doesn't have as much room to be different. There aren't enough different factions, and there's no hobby side to it other than collecting the different ships and cards. So I think it loses some of its draw. But love the game still. We need to do some more X-Wing at some point. So thanks again for your question, Hal Torian. Next up, we got Kurt Leach. He's put, congratulations on being the biggest Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit strategy battle gaming channel on YouTube. Thank you very much. Kurt Leach has put, it's a shame that Mirkwood Rangers can't have axes. Well, it's a shame in terms of if you wanted to sort of power game, as it were, you know, in the same way that I've got axes on my Corsair Reavers. But yeah, because they are listed as having a hand weapon, and models cannot have multiple hand weapons unless stated, then no, they cannot have axes. If Gandalf uses Glamdring in a fight against a monster and the monster wins and decides to rend, would the monster attack the normal strength of Gandalf or the new strength of Gandalf? Is it the unmodified or the modified? I can't remember. I've played this both ways, and I think the last time I played it the right way, and it is actually the modified strength. If you look at the wording. Yeah, I've not got a rulebook in front of me, but I'm sure it's the modified strength. So I don't think there's anything that says that it isn't. So I hope that helps. Next up, we've got, hello again, fellas. This is from Ben Howard. But I hope you're having fun with all the content about reps you're loading up. I'm really enjoying them. Keep them coming. Yeah, hard work, but we're getting there. He's put, still awaiting a Grey Company back rep, James, as requested a few times ago. Well, we can only do what we can do. We're busy chaps, so I'm sorry, Ben. But there are a couple. There's Grey Company versus Mordor, where I won't tell you the result if you've not watched it. But I was playing against a Mordor force by Lewis Applin. And there's a few Grey Company versus Rohan early on, when against Pete and against Steve Crow. So you can check those out. So there are a few Grey Company battle reports. He's put, I'm sick to death of painting horses. Rohan is so hard. Yeah, it's a nightmare. Painting the horses nearly put me off Rohan entirely. So that gives you an idea of how much of a pain that is. He's put, all right, what to ask? Inspiration. What keeps you guys churning through all the models, getting them painted? Movies, shows, and what your next armies you're planning on doing? Well, my inspiration at the moment is just trying to get things either done for getting to tournaments or for the channel. And, you know, I'm finding it very, very hard to get time to do any painting. So a lot of those things are going to be sent away. I mean, I've only had a few things painted by Shadow and Flame, no full armies or anything, but that's got to be the way that we go down, because any time that I'm spending painting could be time that I'm filming videos in terms of our hobby time. So yeah, that's my inspiration really, getting things ready for tournaments. And what are your next armies you're planning on doing? Well, there's lots of armies I need to finish. So I've got an Angmar force, I've got an Umbar force, an Umbar sort of Haradrim force that I need to finish off. I've got a Warriors of Erebor army that I need to do, which I've not. What else have I got? There are lots of, so I've got the Breaking of the Fellowship and all hero things I want to do. The Eagles need finishing. Got Bayonne. I've got tons of stuff. You know, I'm not sure which one's going to be next, so we shall see. My High Elves aren't even completely finished yet. I've got to finish my Glorfindel, and there are quite a few of the. I've got a second warband of the Elves to actually finish that aren't finished, so I need to do that at some point. So he's put all mounted Rohan for the win. Yeah, damn right. He's put because Jamie's Rohan can't afford horses. LOL, joking, buddy. Keep up the good work. Cheers. Thank you very much. Well, playing as all mounted Rohan, it's not easy. You know what I really love? Like, I was involved in a discussion last night, and I find it really interesting that some people just will not give any kind of credit at all for me doing all right with the Rohan, because I do, and it's all well and good saying, oh yeah, but we were talking about this build and stuff like that, you know, and oh, it's your tactics, you've got dirty cheesy tactics, and you've got too many Sons of Ale and all this kind of thing. Less than a quarter of my force is Sons of Ale in my 500 point all mounted Rohan army. I do not always sit back and shoot, but it's a skirmish based army, of course. If the odds are against you, why would you not do that? It's a tactic. It's not anything else. It's just a tactic to try and win. And don't always do that. You know, there are plenty of battle reports. I mean, look at my first battle report versus Jamie. I had to charge in to try and do it. There have been loads of battles where I know that I've not had the advantage and I've had to charge in early. So, but you have to get the charge right. Otherwise, you're spending a load of points on horses and you are effectively throwing them away, because you're not using them right. I mean, I don't get that. The moment that you make something work, that people won't just sort of allow you that and say, okay, well done for trying it, well done for making that list, which lots of people said didn't work. You know, thank you very much, everybody. So I was involved in that discussion last night, you know, which even got to the point where people were going, oh, it's an all-elite army because you've got Westfold Red Shield upgrades, so you're upgrading from Fight 3 to Fight 4. You've got Outriders, you know. Are Outriders elite? Fight 3? You're effectively paying for an extra shoot value in an extra courage and a Vanguard rule, and you're losing defense and fight value. I mean, I've got 4 of them. Is that really elite? I've got 1 Royal Guard in my 500-point army. So it's just trying to make something work. And just because I found something which I feel is optimal, I think this is the difference between, you know, some people saying it is a cheesy build. What? I think a cheesy build is a build that you could give to a beginner player and they would do pretty good with it. A cheesy build is a build which allows a player who doesn't necessarily know what he's doing and will do all right with it because the build is cheesy, purely because of the build, not because of the force. Now, if I gave my army to other players, I guarantee it, and it's not me being big-headed, I bet that they would struggle playing as it. So it's not me being big. It'd be like, you know, although we were having a bit of banter about it, saying that Ed's force is cheesy. I don't think Ed's force is cheesy, actually. I don't think it's Fellboy, because if you give that army to other people, I think that it just wouldn't do anywhere near as well. I think that he really knows how to play that army well. He's found a way of very effectively using the army, so it's not a cheesy force, you know. So I think that's what it comes down to. I think if you gave my 500-point build to another player, I don't think that they would necessarily do as well with it. So that's my argument. I don't know why I got into that. Is it because you said all round Rohan for the win? Well, thank you very much, Ben Howard. As you can tell, it's a sore point. A Facebook discussion that came up last night where Damien and Ed would not just give me any kind of credit. So thank you, guys. So next up, we got the Prancing Ponies. But can I pay to your PayPal account with an ordinary Visa card? I think so. I've got no idea. I think you've just got to go onto PayPal and see what you can do. But it's ilovewargaming@gmail.com. That is how you pay. So just go on PayPal and see what you can do. Next up, we've got Tim Taylor. He's put, first, I'm going to be cheeky and ask 2 questions. Well, that's absolutely fine, pal. I'm happy with that. I was just wondering if there is a heroic pose on a regular miniature, you could just put him on a rock on a base and say it's a captain. A lot of people do that, so why not? Can your force be led by a captain instead of a mighty hero? Thanks as always, and have a fantastic day. I'm really loving the unboxings. Keep it up. Well, I'm glad that you like the unboxings. That's good. Yeah, you could have a captain as a general. I wouldn't always recommend it, but I guess it's a way of having more troops. I think that used to be a really popular thing to do. I'm pretty sure that I've heard tales of when it was the old Lord of the Rings rules or the old Legions of Middle-earth, people just put like captains and then like spam like lots of troops, and that was a really nasty build, like a Moria build where you had like a captain and then just hundreds of goblins. But yeah, you can have a captain as a general. So he put, thanks as always and have a fantastic day. Well, I hope you have a fantastic day too. So Larry Miller, he's put Jamie, sorry, Jamie's not here, but I might be able to answer on his behalf. He's put, Jamie, do you ever think you'll take any of Thranduil's Hall stuff as part of your Wood Elves to a tournament? I think that he, in his 1,000-point list, takes a few Mirkwood Rangers, I think. But the way that Jamie looks at it is that he thinks normal Wood Elves are better, they're cheaper, they have more options, more versatility. You know, guards of the Citadel Court are better in a lot of ways than Palace Guard and the such like. So I think that he prefers normal Wood Elf builds. I think at 1,000 points, only a few Mirkwood Rangers get in. Next up, we got Billy Fitzmaurice, he's put, thanks for the advice on the Castellan. Not had a game since, but we'll give it a try soon, hopefully. My question this week, what are your favourite scenes from each of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films? His are, in the Fellowship, Khazad-dûm. Yeah, that's pretty good. I also like sort of the breaking of the Fellowship part, you know, the Boromir and Aragorn and all of that. That's pretty good. The Two Towers, he's put Last March of the Ents. Yeah, Last March of the Ents is good. Of course, I like all the Rohan stuff. All the Rohan stuff's pretty cool. Right down to like when you get Aemma meeting the three hunters for the first time. I like that bit. And I like all the Helm's Deep stuff. That's pretty cool. You know, that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Return of the King, yeah, the Charge of the Rohirrim, that's got to get sort of the hairs on the back of your neck up. I like the Osgiliath bits as well. And some of the, in the extended version, some of the bits with Boromir, they're pretty cool. Very, very good stuff. In An Unexpected Journey, Riddles in the Dark, yeah, by far. In An Unexpected Journey, I like the backstory stuff as well. So I like all of like the learning about, you know, Thror and everything, seeing, you know, Erebor. I found all that really cool. But I have to say, well, when they go into Rivendell, that's pretty cool. You see a lot of Rivendell. But Riddles in the Dark and the bits with Bilbo in the new movies are by far the best bits. And in Desolation of Smaug, Bilbo and Smaug is by far the best part of that movie, in my humble opinion. I did like seeing Beorn, but it's just not enough content there to pull it through. Billy Fitzmaurice, but also I'll be up for paying for additional content to get it sorted. We certainly will. We will draw that up very soon. Next up, we got Longy970. He's put a question. Oh, some advert just popped up. He's put a question each for you this time round. He put, James, congratulations on the gym, pal. Massive respect for the effort and time you put in. Thank you very, very much. It's hard work. My question is, what does Jane think of SBG and have you tried to teach her? Just started teaching my missus. Small steps, I think, is the appropriate description. Jane has not so far played it with me. She once expressed some interest in painting some of the Mirkwood Rangers, but she's not done it so far. She's promised me a couple of times. What does she think of it? Well, she flits between understanding that it's important to have a hobby and having downtime and not understanding why I would put that time before other things that need doing. So I have to say that since I opened the gym, and it's a weird phenomenon, I don't know if any of you guys have had this, but like before my business, like I'm an outdoor fitness instructor. I own an outdoor fitness company that is vastly more successful than the gym, you know, in terms of the number of members and what we've achieved. You know, we're the biggest outdoor fitness provider in South Manchester. And I know this because the managing director of the UK's largest outdoor fitness company arranged to meet with me last week to try and buy me out. We think, anyway. So I think that that's what he was doing. And they told me the numbers in South Manchester, and it was quite interesting to hear because officially I'm the biggest. But because it's an outdoor fitness company, and it's also been interesting, like from the reaction of other people, beyond the van that I drive, it's quite an abstract thing for a lot of people. It's not quantifiable. So if you turn in terms of assets, you know, the number of instructors, I suppose, is something that could be seen as an asset. And, you know, the park licenses and stuff like that. But it's not a tangible thing for a lot of people. Whereas when I've opened the gym, I've had so many messages of support and so much more excitement has been generated through me opening the gym than me starting Biotic Fit in the first place, which is crazy because the outdoor fitness has been so successful. I mean, I think it's because it's a quantifiable thing in people's mind. And this comes right down to the work that you're putting in. So because I now have a physical base to do my office work, when I am there, it counts as me doing work. Whereas before, I was doing a lot of my work from home, which is tough, but it's still doing work. And I don't think Jane, or anybody for that matter, understand, like, well, it's harder to understand, isn't it? Because you're not at work, you're at home. So Jane wouldn't understand if, for example, the washing up hadn't been done and I had been at home. It's because I was working. And then she would definitely not understand if jobs hadn't been done that she wanted doing and I'd had any hobby time. I was trying to explain, well, that's because I've been working for this period of time. Now I need some downtime. And that makes it sound like I don't do any jobs either. I mean, I really do help out. But I have to say that since doing the gym, that's changed, and she's been very supportive. And she's been more, well, I've only had like a little bit of hobby time. I mean, me escaping to go and do that back rep with Jamie Finnegan. She was quite understanding of that. And also the painting of the Eagles the other night, although she did come down a couple of times in the night saying, you need to get to bed, you need your sleep, which is absolutely right. But I just need some downtime. It can't be wake up, work, bed, wake up, work, bed. You've got no balance, and it just becomes stressful. I've not had a chance at any point to really try and teach her SBG itself, so I don't know what she thinks. She keeps on promising that she'll play, and I'm not sure what she'll do, so we shall see. And then your question for Jamie was an SBG related one. What tactics do you use in the combat heavy scenarios like high ground and hold ground when using your woes elves? Also, I'm game for paying for additional content payments. Count me in. Thank you very much. Well, like I say, guys, there's nothing stopping you guys from already making a contribution to the channel. You can set up a regular payment or just do it manually every month of what you think this channel is worth to you. By setting it up to ilovewargaming@gmail.com, and if you do that, then we do receive the money. So, and we are working on a plan on how to reward people for doing that. So if you want to contribute, you can do that now. Jamie, in high ground and hold ground, it depends what he's up against, but he's not short on numbers. And so, I mean, from experience of playing against him, he will do either one of two things. He will set up on the hill if he has the numbers, I believe. He sets up on the hill if he has the numbers. And then obviously, because it's harder to wrestle the hill than it is to take the hill, in my opinion. Or what he does against things where he thinks he has a massive shooting advantage, but he doesn't necessarily have the numbers and combat advantage, is he will set off in range and he will just shoot the absolute elf out of them and then try and take it off them when he's got the advantage. So that's what he will do. And he's quite a shooty player, Jamie, usually. So yeah, that's what I think he would answer. I've not watched his Q&A yet. I'm going to watch it after I upload this. I thought it'd be good not to have my questions affected by anything he says. Next up, we got Camille Demansky's. But hi guys, unfortunately no question this week. I would like to thank you for your hard work and commitment to the channel. As you can see, I'm here, I'm in my gym jams, I'm in bed, it's early morning, although it's not so early now. I need to get my breakfast, and I'm doing this because we have not had a chance to get together, but we want to fulfill our channel commitments. So he's put, I'm happy that I could help you a little by buying a t-shirt. Yes, it does help a little. He's put, have a nice battle gaming day and you'll never walk alone. Well, I am actually hoping today to go and finish off those Eagles. So one of them looks really good, and I'm a bit gutted that I didn't do that paint scheme on Guahir, because the paint scheme was so much better than my other Eagles. And I've tried to do a different paint scheme for every Eagle, and just one of them stands out. And there's part of me that really wishes that I'd done that paint scheme for Guahir, like really wishes, but what can you do? Camille Demansky's, but hi guys, unfortunately no question this week. I would like to thank you for your hard... Oh no, sorry, I've already read this one out, sorry. Next question is from Good Schmiegel. It's a good username. But hi lads, I figured since I've been watching your videos for a little while now, I should probably ask you a question or two. Well, welcome to the Q&A, and if you don't know the rule, if you ask a question and you are satisfied by one of our answers, make sure you ask a question again. But I've been out of the tournament scene for a few years now, and there's a 1,000-point one coming up soon. I just wanted you to construct... what is it? Oh, I can't even... My brain isn't working, I'm that tired. He basically wants constructive criticism on a Mordor Eastern Realms list for me. He's put Warband 1, Kamal on Fell Beast. Kamal's good. 6 Morannon Orcs with Shield, 6 Morannon Orcs with Spear. Warband 2, Shagrat War Leader, good choice. 6 Morannon Orcs with Shield, 5 with Orcs with Shield and Spear, 1 Morannon Orc with Shield, Spear and Banner, good. Warband 3, the Dwimmer Lake with Horse, and he's put 10 Blackguard of Barad-dûr, that's good. Warband 4, Amdur, Lord of Blades with Armoured Horse, 12 Eastling Warriors with Shield, Pike, and the Black Dragon upgrade. Lack of bows is apparent. I mean, bows aren't as strong, but it does mean if you're up against something like me where I've got more mobility, then that's going to be a problem for you, because I'm going to try and pick stuff off before I get in, because it's tic-tacs, isn't it? I don't know what you like numbers-wise. I mean, you've pretty much got four war bands. Sorry, just got a random tweet. You've got quite a lot of troops, which is good. Good defense. You know, you've got your Easterlings there with the fight. You've got good heroes, good anti-heroes. I think it's a good list. You'll have to let us know how you get on. The list is 1,000 points dead on. The obvious lack of bows is apparent, yep. But I never seem to have too much luck with all bows, and trackers are very squishy. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Evil bows isn't fantastic. I mean, I think the key thing is just ensuring that, I think you've got to have one or two things. You've either got to have mobility or the ability to hit back when it, you know, if you come up against something like me. But you can't build a list based on that, because, you know, how often are you going to come across things like that? I think it's quite a good list. Anybody would be able to kite me anyway with their shorter range too. Keep up the great work. I'm particularly enjoying the Battle Company videos at the moment, and I almost find the tournament reviews and interviews very interesting. I would definitely be down for the paid subscription too. Cheers, lads. Well, like I say, you guys can start doing that now. I mean, if you really want to contribute to the channel, we will make sure that we remember the people who started contributing even before we set up a subscription service, because all it takes is for you guys to go on your PayPals and do it to ilovewargaming@gmail.com. Make sure that you maybe put a little message of who it's from. We will remember that. Trust me. You will be the guys the real first agers that helped us from the start. So, and we will start to make extra content the moment we realise that people are contributing, which is brilliant. Next up, Jamie Finnegan. So he's back again. He's put, hey guys, my question for this week. So he did get a question in. My question for this week is, if I equipped an Urukai with crossbow and shield, am I right in thinking this is okay, and that you won't get the +1 defense but can shield in combat? I think that's right. Yes. Also, second question for Stockport and other tournaments, etc. Would anyone have an issue with me mounting my Warg Riders on the new Felwarg models rather than normal Wargs that come in a box, as they are much nicer? Cheers. No, no one would have a problem with that. That's absolutely fine, in my opinion. I wouldn't have a problem as a TO at Stockport, so. And the final question, wow, how long has this taken me? I can't even see the camera because I'm doing it on my laptop. And if you do it where you can see yourself on the laptop, then instead of looking at this bit here, you look here because you can see yourself. He's put, hello guys, a question today about war gear. This is Harry Sullivan. So if a model uses a two-handed weapon, it results in a -1 on the dice roll to win the fight. If, however, it decides not to use it two-handed, then the disadvantage is not incurred. I just wondered how this game mechanic was explained, as using a weapon designed for two-handed use would be less useful in a one-handed grip. Sorry for the long question, thanks. It's just a game mechanic. I guess if you wanted to explain why do you not get the +1 to wound, and why would you get -1 in the fight, I think it's because you really tried to do like a bludgeoning blow. You've really gone for a big swing. In the same way that, you know, you've got piercing strike. You've left yourself wide open. It's not the most finesse when it comes to combat. You've just really tried to crush your opponent. So you're less likely to win the fight, but by God, if you hit him, you're going to smash him up. But you know what? You can still fight with it in a way which, you know, two-handed weapons can be just as effective in a fight as a single-handed weapon. Definitely, in my opinion. You know, think of like a bastard sword and stuff like that that can be used for two-handed or one-handed. So that's not me swearing, by the way. So if anybody goes, oh, my kids are watching this, that's not me swearing. That's not a swear word. So that's how I would explain that. I've come to the end of my version of this week's Q&A, which I believe is Q&A 32. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed having 2 Q&As to watch. Make sure, as always, that you comment, like, share, and subscribe. Support your Hobbit hobby, and happy strategy battle gaming.